Stitchy friends. I'm Amy. I'm the globe-trotting Stitcher, and I'm really happy to be back with you today for another visit about our favorite hobby, which is cross-stitch and embroidery. Today is Sunday, November the 7th. It is a gloomy, rainy Sunday here in the Seattle area, and I am reveling in every raindrop. I hope that you are all doing well and that you're enjoying your stitching. So a couple of quick updates, just like life updates and a little bit of what we've been up to before we get into the stitching. Last weekend was Halloween, and we had a pretty quiet Halloween around these parts. I was planning to get some new costumes for Bear and Sophie so that we could parade around the neighborhood and show everybody how cute they are, but I just didn't get around to doing it. So Bear and Sophie did not get their Halloween parade, and that's okay. Maybe next year they will. We had a couple of trick-or-treaters, but our trick-or-treaters are kind of hit and miss in this neighborhood. I think more and more folks kind of go to like the big events that are hosted by the community centers and so on. And so we get a handful of kids throughout the night, but not many. But it's always fun to see them and hand out treats to everybody. So that was our Halloween. The other thing that was a little bit kind of special and unusual for us, so it rarely happens in our area because we're a little too far south to get the northern lights. And we also tend to have a lot of cloud cover in this area. And so it's pretty rare to have an opportunity. And we'd been hearing last weekend that it was going to be one of those rare occasions where there was no cloud cover and just given whatever the conditions are that you need to have the northern lights, but that there was a chance that we might be able to see them here locally. So Gary and I decided that we would go on a little adventure in search of the lights. And so we got in our car at 11:30 at night, and you should know Gary and I are like of the early to bed, early to rise kind of people. So normally we're sound asleep by 11:30 at night, certainly not getting in our car to take a drive to go on an adventure. But we stayed up and decided to hit the road to see what we could come up with. And there's a spot that's about an hour drive from us called Point No Point Lighthouse, and it's on a beach and it faces north, and there's no like trees or buildings or anything to get in the way of being able to see. So it was kind of like a good choice for maybe hopefully getting to see the northern lights. So we drove. Gary was telling me on the ride up that there had been rumors of very aggressive deer in the area, and we decided to brave the deer, but fortunately we didn't have any problems. Anyway, we got up there and it was a little bit of a bust. So it was really cold. It was 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 1 degree above freezing for us. But it was a breezy night and we were on the water, so it felt colder than that. And apparently everybody who lives in our county had the same idea to go to this beach to see the northern lights, because we had to park about a half a mile from the beach and walk. I'm sure all the poor people who lived on that road just hated it. But we took the little walk up to the beach, and it was, lots of folks, lots of people driving around. And there were no northern lights to be seen. So we got to see a lot more stars than we normally get to. But it didn't turn out like we had hoped it would, but that was okay. It was still fun to get out, go see the stars, go on a little adventure and spend some time together. We had some good laughs on the way. So neither one of us has ever seen the northern lights to date, but we still have hopefully plenty of time to do that at some point. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been up to. Other than that, it's just sort of plugging away life as normal. So we'll get into the stitching here in just a second, but I wanted to quickly do a shout out to a floss tuber. We got a comment from someone who's, I think, one of our regular viewers, and I've watched her channel several times as well. And have been meaning to shout her out for a long time and always forget to. And so I'm glad that we heard from her. Her name is Anastasia Niko. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Anastasia is a Russian stitcher who's living in China, and she's had a Flosstube channel for quite a while. She's made a number of videos. She's got a really fun, upbeat, quirky personality. She stitches a lot of great different things. And I wanted to encourage you to go check out her channel. She is one of those stitchers who is in the under 1,000 subs club, but like just barely. I was looking at her channel this morning, and She was at 999 subscribers. So please go check her channel out. I hope you'll subscribe. It would be great if we can bump her up over the top of that 1,000 subscriber mark. But one of the other things I wanted to mention about Anastasia is that she films in both Russian and in English. And I really enjoy the folks who go to all the trouble. I know how much work it is to make just a video in English. And so folks who go to the trouble of making 2 videos for the same content to different audiences in separate languages just amaze me. So go check her out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the stitching because we have a number of things to show you today. Gary and I both have finishes to share with you, so we're excited to look at those. And we'll start with Gary's because this is a big finish. He has been stitching on To Market by Hannah's Needlecraft on 16 count beautiful beige Aida, and he started this project several months ago as a gift. And the last time you saw us, he was getting close to a finish, and he was saying that he really wanted to push for a finish. And this week, sorry, we haven't ironed this yet. This week he got his big finish. So this is To Market, all finished up. So Gary, do you have anything you wanna say about this one?
It's done.
The end.
Yeah, this was fun to work on. It's honestly it's not my personal style at all, but I appreciate the work or the colors that the pattern person, whoever that was, put together. It's a nice thing to work on, and I know the person who's going to get it is really going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We're going to get like a bamboo-ish, it's not bamboo, but it looks like bamboo frame for it. Should look pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's going to look great. So hopefully, I don't know if we'll have the frame and have it all framed up by the next time we film, but certainly within the next episode or 2, we'll have an FFO of this to show you before it gets gifted. But yeah, I love it. I think it turned out fantastic, and I think it's going to really be treasured by the person who receives it. Okay. Let's see. The next finish that we have to share with you is my finish. And the last time we filmed, I was telling you that I was also going to be pushing for a finish on this. I have been stitching in my seasonal category, Spring Delivery by Plum Street Samplers on a piece of 36 count sand Edinburgh linen using the called for flosses, although I did sub in a couple of DMCs for things that needed it. And this is what she turned out looking like. Again, I have not ironed this yet, but you guys, I love this so much. This is one of those pieces that I don't know what it was about this. I absolutely enjoyed every minute that I stitched on this. It was just such a fun piece to stitch. I love how it turned out. I think it is absolutely beautiful. I think it's really special. And I definitely will be stitching more Plum Street Samplers designs. The chart was fantastic to work with. And yeah, I love it. I love the colors. I love everything about this. I also am rapidly realizing that 36 count is my sweet spot. I've been primarily a 32 count stitcher for many years. And I'm finding that I'm really enjoying working on that 36. And so you'll probably see more of those coming in as I move into new pieces. I will probably be choosing more 36 count fabrics. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about this. I'm also going to be ordering a frame to get this one done. But I really, really love it. It's just a really fun piece. Okay. So that is it for finishes. So let's look at the whips that Gary and I have been working on since our last update to you. So the first one is my Fancy Lady, which those of you who are with us on a regular basis have been seeing for a long time. And so you would know I am stitching on Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Laurel linen using all of the called for flosses. And the last time you saw this, I was, making good headway. So I had finished, when you see the picture of the finished design, the woman has this cloak that comes around her and it pools on both sides of her feet. And I had finished the pool of the cloak on the one side, and as I'm stitching, you were starting to be able to see the line of where that cloak drapes around her on the other side. And so this is where this is right now. I think I only got maybe 1.5 diagonals on this. But she's definitely, really starting to take shape. So I finished, I got started on this next section where the cloak pools on the other side of her feet. Got in this nice section of her skirt, and I'm starting to get close to the end of the stitching on her skirt. There's not a whole lot left. And then got more of the cloak, as you can see, where it starts to really wrap around her up here at the top. So I'm almost finished with this diagonal down here. And then each subsequent diagonal after this, they're just getting a little bit shorter now, and will be more and more focused on the cloak. So she's really, really coming along. I really love her. I'm starting to think about, it's going to be 2022 sometime before she's actually finished. But I'm starting to think about what I want to do with her when she is finished. Most of the time, I actually, just because I finish things fairly regularly, so I tend to do my own framing and finishing because it's so expensive to frame. But this piece is really special, and I am contemplating sending her off maybe to Jill Rensel to have her professionally framed. I know that will not be cheap, so I'm thinking about it for right now, but I'm leaning in that direction. So this is what she looks like. I also wanted to mention this is a design that I am doing as a stitch along. So if you're regular, you hear this all the time. I'm stitching this with Sarah. She is Stitch Addict on Instagram, and also stitching with Lynn, who is the Lancashire Stitcher here on YouTube and Flosstube. They're both making really good progress. Sarah, I'm really enjoying watching her because we kind of are neck and neck sometimes as far as I think the overall percentage that we finished. But I just have this sneaky suspicion that Sarah's going to get her finished before I do. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Lynn started a few months after we did, so she's not quite as far along. But when she stitches on her pieces, she makes really good progress. So she's one to watch for sure. So anyway, that is where I am on Royal Holiday. Okay. The next design, next piece that I worked on was my wild card piece. So those of you who have watched us for a while know that I have a wild card piece and I stitch on that design once in a while when I have had a finish in one of my other categories, and I'll put in one day on that. And that piece is Bush Market by Hannah's Needlecraft. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count vintage country mocha. The last time you saw it, I was still plugging away on working on that big tree in the center of the design, and I was stitching on two different women that are in the design. So there's a woman on the one side standing under the tree holding a baby, and then there's a woman on the other side of the design who's sitting under an umbrella in the marketplace. And so I had started stitching on both of those and have been kind of working on them for a bit. So let's see if I can get this here. I didn't actually spend a full day on this. I just spent a couple of hours. So I didn't make a ton of progress, but I did make some noticeable progress. I forgot to grab my clips today, so I'm sorry these pieces are a little bit higgledy-piggledy. Okay, so this is where, let's see, we'll try this. All right, awkwardly. This is where this is right now. So I am working more and filling in the center of the tree here. And I still have a ways to go on the tree, but I'm definitely starting to, I'm getting much closer to actually having the tree all finished up. So yeah, filling in the center and kind of bringing that down, working a little bit more on some of these branches and getting closer to the trunk. This time I also worked on this mama and her baby a little bit more, just stitched a little bit more of her skirt, and then put in a little bit more and stitched down further on the umbrella that the woman here will be sitting under. So yeah, not a lot of progress. I'll probably only get a chance to work on this maybe once or twice more between now and the end of the year, but I'm pretty pleased with what I've accomplished on it overall so far. This piece is, I'll be interested to see, because I don't have a lot of pieces that carry over for more than 1 year. And so I'll be interested to kind of see when I get to do my comparison of where I was on this at the beginning of 2021 with where I end up at the end of 2021. And then the last whip that I have to share with you is my travel stitching. I am working on Silent Night by Country Cottage Needleworks. I am stitching it on a piece of 32 count light blue Lugana using all of the called for flosses. And on this piece, if you've been watching a while, you know I started it back in July, and it's not a large design, but because it's travel stitching, it doesn't get pulled out as a part of my regular rotation. It's kind of, I get to it when I have a chance. And the last time you saw it, I had put in more of the roof, was still working on snowflakes. I think I had put in the stars at the top of 2 of the trees, but I wasn't very far along. And I was really pleased this time around because I got to work on it a little bit more than I have been lately. And so I've made a fair bit of progress, not a ton, but definitely noticeable progress. So this is where she is right now. So you can see I've now made it all the way across the top with the border. There's still some leaves and snowflakes to fill in, but at least this border structure has been completed. I've put in all of Silent Night now, so more of the words, filled in more of the roof here, and put in more snowflakes. And then I also made good progress on stitching in this tree that's to the one side of the church. So this piece feels more like a real whip that I'm actually getting some progress on, as opposed to something that like I pick up and put in a couple of stitches here and there. So I don't know how much time I'll get to work on this in the next couple of weeks, but I'm really happy with where it is. I would love to have this finished for Christmas this year, but I think I would probably have to, I'm not sure that realistically I can do that without actually trying to plan some specific time for it. So we shall see. It'll get done when it gets done, but I really love this design. Okay, that is all we have for whips today. But because we had finishes, we have some new starts to share with you for both Gary and for me. So I'll start with mine because it's easier to get to right now. So I started a new design in my seasonal category that I've been looking forward to stitching for a while now. And this is a summer themed piece. Oh, the top middle drawer. Sorry. They might be underneath a couple of things. So this is a summer themed design, and I am stitching Honey Fields by Filigram. This is the first Filigram design I've stitched. I'm really enjoying it so far. They have a lot of really cute charts. But one thing I will say, the chart is like really hard to, it's really small, very hard to read. And so I'm thinking that the next time I stitch a Filigram chart, I will probably decide to, when I make my working copy, I will probably do something like get some, blow it up a little bit so it's a little easier to see. But I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Chase Scape. Thank you. Got a little bit of Wizard of Oz action happening here. Pay no attention. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Chase Scape Lugana by Silk Weaver, and I am using the DMC conversion that's provided with the chart. Although I am switching out one of the colors from what it's called for. On this design, well, let me show you what it looks like, and then I'll share a little bit about it. So this was my start on Honeyfields. Love this. I really, really love this. I'm really pleased with how it's coming together. So one of the things I wanted to mention with this design is the actual design as charted calls for this to be stitched on just like a neutral kind of tan cream sort of fabric. And when I was thinking about this, I thought I would give this fabric a try, and I really debated about whether I wanted to do this fabric or not, because when I bought this, it was beautiful, but it was kind of an impulse purchase. And it was like, it's kind of like a sky blue, white, over-dyed thing going on. And I don't stitch a lot of things that would call for that kind of a fabric as a background. So when I got it, I was like, this is really beautiful, but will I ever use it? And then when I was starting to think about kitting this design up and what I wanted to put it on, I thought about this and I was like, well, that could work. And I did a floss toss and I still wasn't totally sold on it. And I thought, I'm going to just give it a try. I'm just going to start it on that fabric and we'll see. And then I started stitching and I put in this little honeycomb motif up here and I was still like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep going with it. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm absolutely thrilled with it. Now that I've got a good start on it, I feel like putting this very outdoorsy kind of fields of flowers and a bee skep, and well, it's not a bee skep, it's a beehive, but I feel like it was meant to go on a sky colored fabric. It's just perfect. And I'm loving how it looks. I'm also really excited because although I don't have it yet, this design does have a sister chart. And there's enough fabric here that I'm planning to get that other chart, and we'll stitch it on the other piece of the other side of this fabric, or the other half, so that I can have them both together on a sky colored fabric. But really loving this start. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to work on. All right, the last piece that we have to show you is Gary's new start. And Gary is, oops. Gary is stitching on Captain America by Awesome Pattern Studio. This is an Etsy shop PDF chart. And we saw this design over a year ago. And as soon as I saw it, I thought it was such a cool design. And I was like, oh, Gary should stitch this. And so I was super happy when he saw it and liked it as well. He is stitching this on a 16 count pewter Aida using DMC, and he just started it last night. And this is what he's done so far. So he started center top, and so this is the top of Captain America's head. You can see the A in the negative space there, and I think it looks really good. Also, his stitching just looks fantastic. He's got great tension. And so I'm really excited to see him working on this in the next couple of months. I think he's going to have a lot of fun with it. I should probably give Gary a chance to talk about it if he wants to.
Well, you tend to say everything.
I know.
And then say, what do you have, Gary? And it's like, I got nothing. Except she's right. I did fill the a-hole. That's been taken care of. But other than that, this one is, I'm old, man. These are like little tiny squares, and even the pattern itself, just looking at where you get it is really tiny. But should be fun to finish this one. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know. But, and I don't know when it's going to be done. I'm just going to work on it. And then we'll go from there. But it's fun. Like I say, I got the first part, as like she said, the first part is done. So you can see the A in the Captain America deal. But that's it, really. Yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Okay, so that is it for our stitching. So I'm going to switch gears quickly and talk about some amazing Stitchy Kindness that we received. And I want to be careful about, I didn't ask permission to share this person, share who this person is. And so We'll try not to give too many details, giving away names and such. But I got a note on Instagram a while ago from one of our regular viewers, and she asked if she could have our address because she wanted to send us just a little Stitchy goodness. And because she and I have exchanged messages a number of times, I felt comfortable sharing that. And she said, it's going to be a while. New Zealand is in lockdown because she's from New Zealand, and I said, you want to send me Stitchy Kindness. I'm not going to argue with you about when that happens. So anyway, we received her gift this last week. And I have to tell you, it's just blew both of us away. It was such a special, thoughtful, kind, and generous thing. And so I'm really excited to share that with you. So we opened this package and we were just completely, it made our week. Such thoughtful Stitchy Kindness, such an incredible gift that shows how well our friend knows us and has been paying attention. And so we wanted to share with you all the goodness that we received because this was just so, so special. It literally felt like Christmas morning. So first, there were gifts for Gary and there were gifts for me, and then there were gifts to share. So Gary, I'm going to put your gift up. I don't know if you want to talk about this at all, but
it's a bag. it's a cool. I really love this thing. I just love this thing. It's got Batman and Robin on it, and at first glance you think it's the same Batman and Robin, but it's a mixture of several different Batman and Robins, and it's got a little bag. I guess the little bag is Robin.
It's the sidekick.
Just like the big bag. So that would be for, I guess, small things. But yeah, the really cool part is as Amy mentioned, I'll be going away, so I'll get a chance to try that stuff out. And I'm looking forward to it. I really like that. It's like really cool.
Yeah. So this is Gary's very first project bag. Yeah, just perfect. And it even has like this fantastic little paw print zipper pull on it for Bear and Sophie, which we loved. Just a wonderful little detail.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, very thoughtful. The other thing that our friend included, she knows that Gary is a fan of the All Blacks. The All Blacks is New Zealand's rugby team. And so she also sent some great little like All Blacks paraphernalia for Gary to enjoy.
And the cool thing about the stickers is like it actually tells you the black ones are for light surfaces and the white ones are for dark surfaces. I think the gray one, it says do what you want.
It does. This is for all colored surfaces.
There you go. Right on gray.
That's awesome. So fantastic. Okay. And then there were some goodies for Gary and I to share. And let me tell you, it has been a real test of willpower to not tear into these things because, as we all know, if you get a gift, you're not supposed to use it until you show it on Flosstube. And so last night we finally gave over. I was like, I'm not waiting anymore. So we got these tasty little strawberry pavlova clusters, and we know they're tasty because we finally busted into these last night. They are so good. In fact, Gary was like, these are dangerous after we had them. And then we both went back and had another one. But really, really yummy little pavlova clusters. And then she sent us 4 monster chocolate bars in different flavors. So there's a white chocolate buttermilk one. I love white chocolate. It's my favorite. There is this one that's sea salt with caramel brittle and saffron. A sea salt and caramel brittle that's milk chocolate. The other one was dark chocolate. And then Hawke's Bay Black Doris plum and roasted almonds and dark chocolate. So you better believe I can't wait to eat these, but I'm going to have to be, rationing them because these just look fantastic. And these are all New Zealand chocolates. So super, super fun there. Then y'all, like, when I was opening this package, it was just like the goodness kept on coming. I could not believe it. Then she sent a whole bunch of these fantastic floss tags that she made, and they're all in King Henry VIII and his wives as a theme, which she didn't know this, but I'm a huge history buff. I love history, and Henry VIII has always been fascinating to me. Gary and I, when we were in England several years ago for our honeymoon vacation, we went to the Tower of London, so we saw where Anne Boleyn got beheaded. And then a few years later, I was back in England for a work trip, and so I went and I toured Hampton Court Palace, which is, of course, one of the palaces that Henry VIII lived at. And so for me, this just like so resonated. These are beautiful. I love them. And such a fun gift and such a creative idea. And then along with all of these fantastic floss tags, she sent this gorgeous floss drop with, if you can see it, it's Royal Holiday. And so she made this for me with Royal Holiday, which I'm just blown away. I love this so much. It's so pretty. It's so perfect. And then, in addition to that, she made, she sent, I should have showed this first, this gorgeous card. Really beautiful card. Such a sweet note inside. Thank you. And then she made me also this beautiful project bag with the Notions pouch as well. Teal is my favorite color. This is stunning. This is so perfect. These are my colors and I love them. And I've been like going over and petting the bag all week. And I'm really excited because now that I've shown it, I can actually use it. So this is where my Floralia sampler is going to be living for the next year. And I love it. And then this gorgeous lining fabric, absolutely beautiful. Sarah made these bags, by the way. She made them. They're beautifully made. I'm super impressed because I cannot sew like this. So thank you. And then finally, she included this gorgeous sampler. This is Bellagio by Sampler Cove. And she sent along with this beautiful pattern, the silks that I need to stitch it. So, where did they go? Here they are. Beautiful Gloriana silks to stitch this gorgeous pattern. So, from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you enough. I was so touched. It was literally like getting into Santa's sack and pulling all kinds of goodness out. Like it was just such an amazing, overwhelming, truly beautiful, thoughtful, personal gift. And I just can't believe the kindness of friends, the kindness of this community, and to be the recipient of such a thoughtful and generous gift. Really, it truly made my week. So thank you. I truly can't say thank you enough. So, sorry, I dropped my paper. I'm lost without my notes. Yeah, thank you. So after that, we're going to wrap up with just a couple of questions and a preview of what we're going to be working on over the next couple of weeks. So quickly on the questions, we got a question from Gail Fansler, and Gail said, how long has Gary been stitching and do you stitch together? So Gary, I'll let you answer the first part of that if you want.
What?
Oh, I asked the question.
What?
Gail, she wanted to know how long you've been stitching.
Oh, sorry, I was listening to something. Well, shh. Leave him alone, he's gonna bark. There, it's okay.
It's okay, buddy. Come here.
It's all right, man.
You're okay.
Anyway, what was the question?
How long have you been stitching?
Not long.
Okay.
Not long enough for me to consider myself a cross stitcher. There it is right there. We have, I've done 4 of these. I'm on my 5th one. She's been cross stitching for 30 years. And some of the cross stitches that I've seen out there, you guys are awesome. I'm like, I just started. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't say 12 months, but it'd be close to 12 months as a start. Yeah.
I think it is 12 months now because your first piece you stitched for your son for Christmas last year.
No, that was his birthday, wasn't it?
No, it was Christmas.
Okay.
Well, anyway, you've been stitching about a year. All right, we're going to move on to the next part of the question, which is, do we stitch together? The answer to that is sometimes yes. And I think that's mainly because I stitch pretty much every day. Gary stitches a couple times a week. And so a lot of times if I'm stitching in the evening and he's in the mood to stitch, we'll be sitting in the room together and stitching. And that's always really cozy. It's just, we sit on opposite sides of the room to do our stitching, but I just really enjoy on those days when we are stitching together at the same time. I really enjoy it. I think it's just very homey and it's really fun. And I like to be able to get up and go poke my nose into what he's doing and see what his progress looks like. So that's that. The next question is from Anne. Anne, I'm afraid I'm gonna butcher your last name, so I'm gonna try a couple different ways to see if I get it right. Anne Lefevre or Lefarve or Lefevre. Sorry. So Anne asked, what do I mean by my travel project, and do I only work on it when I'm out of town? That's a great question. So my travel project started out as a travel project because I needed something that was small and really mobile to take with me. Pre-COVID, I had a really long commute. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning so that I could leave the house at 5 o'clock and be at my desk by 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. So it was a really awful commute. And for part of that time, I would be riding a ferry. And so I wouldn't have to be paying attention to what was going on around me, and I would be able to cross stitch. And so I would use my project for that. A lot of times I'll take my travel project with me if I'm going to a Stitchy meetup or a Stitchy group where I need something that's small and that I can hold the Q-snap in my hand. And like if I go visit my parents or a friend, get together with one of my girlfriends, go to the doctor's office, anytime that I might have some downtime and waiting time, I'll take my travel project with me. So that's why the timing is kind of variable as far as how often I can work on it. But that's why I refer to it as my travel project, because it's something that's small enough to be mobile and I can take with me to work on when I don't really need like a floor stand to hold it for me. Okay, so we will wrap up by talking about what we're going to be working on over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to spend a week working on Rose Trellis In, which is my full coverage design. I'm also going to spend a week working on the Floralia Sampler by Clover Me Designs, which I've really been enjoying the last couple of months. We'll see what I can get done on my travel stitching, my Silent Night by Country Cottage Needleworks, and Gary is going to be plugging away on his new start of Captain America. As we had mentioned, I think he's going to be going to visit his brother, and so he's planning to take that with him. And so I'll be really interested to see how much progress he makes on that while he is away. So with all of that said, we're going to wrap it up today. Just knowing what our editing and posting schedule tends to be like on videos, I'm pretty sure this video will be going up shortly before Thanksgiving. And so even though it's early in November right now, wanted to take this opportunity to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving if you live in the United States, or if you were an observer of Thanksgiving in November. And I hope that for you it is a day of true gratitude and reflection, that however many difficult things have happened in the world in the last year or 2 years, that we have much to be thankful for. And so I hope it's a day of joy and lots of good food for you. So if you like our videos, we do hope you'll give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Please feel free to leave a comment. We really do enjoy reading all of your comments and connecting with you. Follow us on Instagram in between videos at globetrotting_stitcher. And you can also email us at globetrottingstitcher@gmail.com. So with all of that having been said, take care, stay safe, enjoy your stitching, and we will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.